Well, the sprint car that was just once a frame one day ago now already has a little bit of progress made on it. And remember all those parts that were sitting on the top of this car? Now it's all just tools. I finally got through the top shelf of all the parts through the solvent tank. But welcome back to today's video. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, my name is Tanner Holmes and I'm a 17-year-old outlaw kart and sprint car driver from here in Southern Oregon. And more importantly than that, I just absolutely love to race. I love to go fast, and I also love to bring you guys along for the journey by documenting every single time we're at the racetrack or in the shop on this YouTube channel. Now for Tanner Holmes Racing, our off season is officially here. Now we are only racing outlaw karts during the wintertime indoors to keep our skills sharp. And as many of you guys know, races are won in the shop, not necessarily at the racetrack. So we are doing our best this off season to get prepared right, get our new car built for 2021. And this whole process started last week. I posted my first off season shop vlog on the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll link it up here on the YouTube card or in the description down below. That's like vlog number 1 for the off season, and this is vlog number 2. So if you guys watched that last vlog, you know we took apart our 2 previously used race cars, our KPC Chassis Sprint cars that we ran during 2020. We took them down because they both needed to be sent back to KPC, and they actually just left to head down to California this past week. So that is awesome that we are already a little bit ahead of schedule, and now those are down at KPC and they're ready to be fixed so we can get them probably at the beginning of 2021 in early January. Now, one other thing that we recently did in the shop, and it's gonna make a lot of sense when you watch a little bit later in the video, and that is with our solvent tank. So we got a solvent tank up here at the shop about a year and a half ago. And obviously, as we used it more and more over time, it just got super, super dirty for cleaning numerous parts. And we figured since we had a lot of parts that need to go through it during this off season that it was probably about time to change the solvent, and we did that over this weekend. This definitely is not a glamorous job, huh?
Nope. Out. Pieces of metal.
Well, at least our solvent tank's gonna be pretty clean going into 2021.
It's about the only thing that's gonna be clean.
Now, the reason we cleaned the solvent tank is because we got a lot of stuff that's about to go through it. And we hadn't changed the solvent in a while, so we figured it was probably about time. Way clearer than the last batch we had in.
Starting 2021 off right, a month early.
So those are just 2 things that we've kind of been doing here at Tanner Holmes Racing, but the main thing actually took place yesterday. So if you guys are watching this on a Friday, we really got to work on Thursday. We have our new frame here, and we figured, man, it's probably about time to get this thing built. So our goal is to have this thing as a full roller, which is very possible by the time we get those other 2 cars back from KPC, so this thing is ready to go. Now, I did a little bit of a different format this week. Instead of just doing a time lapse with music, I actually decided to do my own voiceover over it. So let me know what you guys think of this. But anyway, Thursday, like I said, we got to work. My crew chief, Roger Henderson, who has been helping me since I started sprint car racing, he came up to the shop and we really just got started. He worked mainly on the new frame. And then my job was to get all these parts over here, was to get all these parts right here through the solvent tank. And I felt like we made a lot of progress. So let's roll into all that from the footage of us working yesterday in the shop. So we get to work at about 8:30 in the morning. I immediately knew my job for the day was probably gonna be in the solvent tank cleaning all the parts that came off both sprint cars that we tore down last week. Here's a picture of that cart from the previous vlog. We just had a lot of stuff that needed to go through the solvent tank, get all the grease off of it, and get it clean. So when it was time to reassemble, everything was ready to go back on the race car. So while I got started on cleaning all of the parts in the solvent tank, Roger got started on the actual race car itself for 2021. And first thing he did, he got our new beautiful front axle out. The thing is absolutely sweet. Slid that in the race car. As many race fans can agree with me, new parts on a race car just look absolutely sweet. We also have a few other things around it. We got the rear end, we have our floor pan, and we have our motor plate. And then after that, you can see a time lapse of us just back to work. We're both kind of doing little jobs. I'm just slowly grinding away part by part, just trying to get it all clean, double checking myself multiple times to make sure I don't miss any spots. You will notice when I'm doing all of this cleaning, I have my fancy orange rubber gloves, and I like to clean it, and then I like to use a little bit of air to dry it off before I take multiple parts over to the table. We try to kind of set them up, organize them over there where everything's easy to get to. It's a lot less crowded than having it on that cart. At this point, Roger was going through and checking out our part situation to see what parts we didn't have that might hold us up during the build to make this thing a roller. I was still working in the solvent tank, just chugging along. Then you guys saw we just slid the rear end in there. Check out this thing also. It is so beautiful. Looks really, really good. We're excited to get it all hooked up. So now we're getting a little bit closer to 11 a.m. Believe it or not, I'm actually getting much, much closer to finishing up the cart. I got all the large stuff out of the way. Now I was just down to actually some things that didn't even need to go through the solvent tank because about 85% of the stuff on the cart did, but I was down to just a few things that I could wipe off or put over there. Here's a look at the car itself and the progress we had made. I know it doesn't look like much, but we got a few radius rods hooked up. And then here is a look at my table and all the parts that I went through and just made sure to get them clean and get them ready to reassemble. And you can see the solvent that we had just recently changed earlier in the video isn't so clean. So as I'm nearing the end stages of my job, my dad actually stops me because he didn't want to get any solvent on my clothes. As you guys can see in this screenshot here, he stops me and he's like, "Hey son, why don't you put this apron on to not get your clothes dirty?" Even though I was in work clothes that I work in all the time. The jeans were already dirty, the shirt was already dirty. But he gives me this apron to use and I'm like, why not? Here is a quick shot though of me with the apron on. I figured I'd rock it with the orange gloves. Makes me look a little bit better while I'm working. So after I get my apron on, Roger started working on a few things on the rear part of the car. He got the bird cages on, he got the rear shocks hooked up, he got the torsion bars in, and got the rear arms on. And then once I finally got done playing around in the solvent tank for the day, got all my parts done, he offered me a job to drill all the holes in the floorboard and then put the Allens and nuts in there. So that's kind of how we finished off the day. We made a ton of progress. So as you guys saw, we were working really, really hard yesterday. I sometimes am the type of person to always just keep looking forward to the future and not necessarily living in the moment. So right now I'm telling myself, live in the moment, enjoy the off season. I actually have really been enjoying running the Outlaw carts. Some people, when they graduate from them, they don't usually like to go back and run them anymore. I don't know if it's because they're rusty or they don't usually do as well, but I'm the complete opposite. I love running Outlaw carts whenever I get the opportunity, and so I'm enjoying that season right now. But once the sprint car season rolls back around, I'll be excited to get back behind the wheel. But that is going to end today's video. Thank you so much for watching. But two quick things before we end today's YouTube video. I wanted to let you guys know about the second YouTube channel that I made, and it's specifically for onboards and clips. That's actually the name of the YouTube channel, Tanner Holmes Onboards and Clips, and I'll leave a link to it down in the description down below. But if you guys want some more content, I'm gonna try to post on it probably at least 5 times a week, just different onboards throughout the years, as well as our current onboards every single weekend, and just that footage will be on there. So it's an awesome way if you just like to ride along inside the race car. And then also my good friend Bennett Gooch, who's been up at my house recently. He's came up a few different weekends throughout the past few months. If you guys wanna go subscribe to his YouTube channel, he just started posting vlogs again. I'll put a link to it at the top of the description. Bennett's got a real funny personality. I really enjoy watching his content, everything that he's working on down in Northern California. But that is going to end today's YouTube video. If you guys want to continue to follow along with all of our progress here at Tanner Holmes Racing, definitely subscribe with notifications on for every single time we upload. Lots more fun stuff is going to be happening in the off season and as we get into 2021, so hopefully you guys are here to ride along with me. Like I said, thank you for watching. We'll see you all in the next one. Deuces.